Hey everyone, Tyler here at The Movie Beat. Hope you're all staying safe and healthy out there, and welcome back to another Korean movie review. In this one, we're going to be looking at the 2004 Korean romantic comedy drama film, Windstruck. Now, this one's pretty special for several reasons. Coming off back-to-back successes of two of the all-time great romance films, both My Sassy Girl and the classic, writer-director Kwak Jae-yong had fans, including myself, hardly able to contain our excitement in anticipation for his newest film, Windstruck. Now, at the time, I'll admit, because of movies like My Sassy Girl, the classic, My Tutor Friend, 100 Days with Mr. Arrogant, I loved the romantic comedy genre. I still do, but I would probably say it was my favorite at this time. Jun Ji-hyun was coming back. The trailer dropped, that Knocking on Heaven's Door music. Oh my god, it just couldn't. This was set up to be one of the greatest movies ever, I thought. And when it came out, it turned out that third time is not exactly a charm, and the movie left me pretty disappointed. Now, revisiting it after all these years, I've come to not only try to understand where that initial disappointment came from, but I'm also finding myself appreciating Windstruck for really the film that it is, rather than the film that I hoped it to be. So, let's get into my review. Standing upon the ledge of a skyscraper's rooftop, a woman closes her eyes and embraces the wind just before jumping into a free fall. Just then, a man's voice begins to introduce the falling woman as his very special girlfriend Kyung-jin, played by Jun Ji-hyun, and after hinting at an ominous fate, decides to describe the very peculiar story of how the couple first met. While chasing a purse snatcher, Myung-woo, played by Jang Hyuk, is tackled by the off-duty police officer Kyung-jin in a crowded shopping district after she mistakenly takes him for the thief. Sometime later, Myung-woo attends a volunteer patrol assignment and reunites with Kyung-jin when she's assigned his partner. After a wild night of cops and robbers, the two begin dating, but their relationship is cut short when an unexpected tragedy occurs. Now, Windstruck in many ways could be described as the spiritual sequel or prequel of My Sassy Girl for several reasons. Not only does this movie feature similar top-level melodrama and comedy, it also is packaged with some similar like mid-60s style American rock music, like My Girl, you've got that Boule Boule song, and for whatever reason, it works so well. I just love that music with this modern Korean look. So, nailed it again, and one of the very best instrumental original soundtracks of all time, but the character Kyung-jin, played by Jun Ji-hyun, is virtually a carbon copy of her character from My Sassy Girl. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Well, yes and no, because on one hand, I'm asking myself, why don't I just watch My Sassy Girl more, masterpiece? Well, it's because in this movie, we get to see that awesome character that we love go full sass mode as a police officer shooting up bad guys. But the bad part is the action side of the movie is not very fitting with some of the more melodrama and comedy so much, which is, I think, where Windstruck finds its biggest balancing problems. Does something so right, but others just baffling wrong. First of all, Windstruck is much more slapstick than My Sassy Girl, which is fine because it does have really good punchlines. I loved watching her beat up young punks and chasing drug dealers, or even explaining the origins of the Pinky Promise through this elaborate fairy tale story where she plays the part of a princess. But whether it was like an extra hip throw of one of the baddies or a dodged bullet, or even that story, I felt like it just takes that punchline one step too far, and it's like, we get it, it was funny, but it dragged and it just held it. So for comedic timing, at least for my taste, it did hold those moments a little bit too long. The melodrama in Windstruck, on the other hand, is top shelf. Writer-director Kwak Jae-yong brings the magic yet again and creates some of the best on-screen melodrama out there. He does, however, start to mimic some of his previous work, whether it's dancing in the rain or those quiet walks exchanging glances back and forth. But, it's his signature style, and I'm all for it because it just works so well. Kwak has a way of shooting a scene that will stir up emotions within you, even if it's undeserving or had less than a stellar buildup. He's that good. But I also feel that Windstruck plays somewhat like a highlight reel of great TV commercials that, although maybe mostly good, they just have a really hard time coming together as this cohesive whole in the end. But I think where Windstruck let me down the most is how it just kind of takes too much comfort in repeating some of the successes of My Sassy Girl and the classic, and not really doubling down on what makes Windstruck unique and original and its own. I applaud Kwak's desire to mix action with melodrama for the unique experience it creates, but he doesn't manage to stick the landing in this really sensitive balancing act that he has to play. The film's central themes of saying goodbye and finding a way to regain that footing after experiencing some kind of tragedy are almost too powerful that I sort of wish the film did away with more of the slapstick comedy and brutal action shootouts and instead pursued the more fantasy or fantastic elements that arise. If it did do that, I just can't help but feel that Windstruck could have met that legendary status that Kwak's previous films made. So looking back on Windstruck, I feel like some of the epic expectations that I had for the movie were a bit unrealistic, and I think I've come to really like more what Windstruck does so well than not like what it sort of fails to do. And I'm so happy for that because it's just another movie that I can enjoy and not sort of cringe when I think back to it. So I do love that aspect of revisiting some of these movies, sort of in a different headspace than I was when it came out. And it's absolutely a must-watch for fans of romantic comedy and melodrama in general. And definitely Windstruck is one of my top picks of Korean films from the early 2000s that I feel would really experience a strong resurgence if given some kind of remastering or new life on Blu-ray in some kind of home media format with the OST, of course. So I'm gonna rate Windstruck a powerful mixed bag 6.5 out of 10. The goods outweighing the bads and the greats being spectacular. So let me know what you guys thought of Windstruck, and as always, if you like this content, please like and subscribe for more videos like this in the future. You can check out my Korean video review playlist for more reviews. Until next time, I'm Tyler at The Movie Beat. Keep watching movies.